Rigid body dynamics, or the study of motion of solid objects. Dear students, myself Regina R. Sebastian. I'm a faculty of Department of Physics, and I will be dealing with the chapters Dynamics of Rigid Bodies and also the chapter Oscillations and Waves from your complementary physics paper. This video is the first lecture for the chapter Dynamics of Rigid Bodies. In this chapter, we will be learning about moment of inertia, theorems of moment of inertia of regular shades, kinetic energy of a rotating body, and moment of inertia of a flywheel. I understand many of these terms are really new to you, so don't get upset at this point. I make sure that I will explain almost all the terms coming into and make you familiarized with everything which is being discussed. Dynamics. Dynamics is the study of motion. There can be different types of motion. A motion can be a translation, that is, motion in a straight line. A motion can be rotation, that is, motion about an axis. Or it can be oscillation, that is, a motion about a mean point. Moving in a straight line, such as moving in a car or a bus, is an example for translatory motion. Motion, that spinning of earth or spinning of a tabletop, etc., are example for rotatory motion. And using a swing or a simple pendulum, motion of a simple pendulum is an example for oscillation. In this video, we will be learning about rigid bodies. We will be learning what is a rigid body, what are the properties of a rigid body. Then we will turn into center of mass of a rigid body. We will try to define what is a center of mass of a rigid body. Then we will see the difference between a translatory motion and a rotatory motion. Then we will step into the term moment of inertia. We will try to define moment of inertia and to understand what it physically means with a moment of inertia of a body. Then we will have to look into the moment of inertia of a rigid body, and we will learn about radius of gyration. Now, what is a rigid body? Rigid body is a solid body whose shape cannot be deformed. For example, a stone, a wood, a glass door, or a tree, or anything whose shape cannot be deformed by putting pressure on it. We can't stretch or squeeze or we can't pressurize that object to deform that object. For example, consider a sponge or a jello. We can alter its shapes by putting pressure on it. We can stretch that object, we can squeeze that object. That object is not a rigid body. A rigid body is something like a stone or anything around you, maybe a gadget from your watching this video, your laptop, your phone, your calculator, your book, or anything whose shape or cannot be modified, cannot be deformed, or shape which you cannot stretch or squeeze. Such a shape, a solid body, is called a rigid body. Since we cannot stretch or squeeze that body to deform that body, any two points, the distance between any 2 points will always remains a constant. In case of a sponge, when you squeeze, the distance of any 2 parts will come closer. But in the case of a rigid body, no matter how much force you apply to that body, you cannot alter the distance between any 2 points. Therefore, distance between any 2 points in a rigid body will remain a constant no matter whatever force you apply on it. And in this chapter, we will learn how rigid body react to motion or react to force applied on it. We have to get familiarized with one new term, that is center of mass. You already know what is a center of mass. You might have already learned about it. A center of mass of a rigid body is a point where all the mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. We can balance that body at the point of center of mass. We are usually familiar with balancing our textbook with one finger. Yes, right? Yes, that we can balance the textbook because we are balancing it at its center of mass. Center of mass is a point where all the mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. For a regular body of a uniform shape, the center of mass will be same as its center of geometry. Its geometrical center will be its center of mass. For example, in this given picture, since this plate is holding a regular body with a geometrical symmetry, its geometrical center will be its center of mass. Again, when you are holding or balancing your textbook with one finger, textbook is a regular body. It has a symmetry in shape. So you can balance the textbook exactly at the center by putting finger at the center of the textbook. Therefore, center of mass is a point in a rigid body where all the mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. Now, let us learn the difference between the translation and rotation. As I've already told you, a translatory motion is a motion in a straight line and rotatory motion is motion about an axis. Consider the example. If you are running in a straight line, then you are in a translatory motion. And consider a tabletop spinning or an earth spinning, or you're spinning a football, then its motion is called rotation. Rotation happens about a fixed axis. There can be a fixed axis or there can be an imaginary axis. Translation. In translation, all the body parts will move at the same rate. For example, if you are running, then your head, your hand, your feet, everything move along a straight line at the same rate. But in the case of rotation, the particles will not move from one point to another, but the particle inside that body will execute a motion in concentric circle. For example, consider this ball. If we imagine an axis through which it is spinning through the center of it, then you can see that every particle in that ball is spinning in a rotational direction. It is rotating, it is spinning in concentric circles about that axis. In a translatory motion, the center of mass is moving linear with the body. For example, if you are running, the center of mass of the body is also moving in the same straight line with the same rate. But in the case of spinning, the center of mass is always stationary. You can imagine the center of mass of this particular ball, and since all the particles are spinning around it, you can imagine that the center of mass here is a stationary. You can see that the center of mass in this example, the spinning ball, is a stationary. Now, another difference is, in translation, it involves displacement. That is, you displace an entire body from one point to another in space. But in the case of rotation, the body as a whole is not displaced from one place to another. Just that it moves into a particular position. Its position is not changed from one place to another. It moves in a particular fixed position. In a translatory motion, the linear velocity of all the particles in the body will be same. We have already discussed it. Since all your body part is moving at the same rate, the linear velocity of all those body parts will be the same. But in the case of a rotatory motion, you can see that the particles in the outer circle of the ball is spinning very fast, and particles at the inner point, particles which is very close to the center of mass, will be executing very small circles. So they will be spinning at a small rate, at a very slow rate. Therefore, their linear velocity will change at each and every point. Their linear velocities are not the same, but their angular velocity is same. In a rotational motion, the quantity which is similar is the angular velocity and not the linear velocity. A translatory motion can be produced by any force acting on it. It can be a push or a pull or any force acting on it. But in the case of a rotation is caused by a torque or a couple acting on a body. Torque is again called moment of force. A force which can produce rotation is called a torque. When a body is attached to an axis and you apply a force on any one part of the body, instead of displacing, that body will continue to spin around that axis. At this moment, the force you applied is not force but torque, because it doesn't it doesn't produce a linear motion, it produced a rotational motion. Therefore, a force which produces a rotational motion is called a torque. A rotational motion is produced by a torque, while a linear motion is produced by a force. Hope you are clear with the differences. A translatory motion involves displacement, and the center of mass is moving at the constant rate, and every particle in that body is also moving at the same rate. But in the case of a rotation, the body whole itself is stationary, its center of mass is stationary, but particles in the body are in motion. They are in moving in a path, in a concentric circle about that axis, and their angular velocity is a constant. A translatory motion is produced by a force, whereas a rotational motion is produced by a torque or a couple. Now, let me introduce the term moment of inertia. You might have already learned the term moment of inertia in the lower classes. So, what is an inertia? Inertia is the inability of a body to change its state of rest or state of uniform motion. A body will resist any change to its state of rest or state of motion, and this property is called inertia. Inertia is a property of mass of a body. That is, heavier the body, more will be the inertia of the body. So mass can be considered as a measure of inertia. Same in the case of a linear motion. A rotating body also resists any change in its state of rest or state of rotation, and that inertia is called moment of inertia or rotational inertia. For anything which is complementary, any physical quantity which is complementary to linear motion, we use the term moment of. For example, torque is called moment of force. Therefore, inertia here, the rotational inertia is called the moment of inertia. Again, it is an inability. It is a property of a body that it cannot change its state of rotation or state of rest. Moment of inertia is the inability of a body to change its state of rotation. The body will resist any kind of change in the state of rotation, maybe slowing down or speeding up or anything, any change in its state of rotation. will be resisted by a body, and this is a measure of the mass of the body. Heavier the body, more will be the moment of inertia from it. Now let us mathematically try to explain moment of inertia. Moment of inertia mathematically is the product of mass of a particle and the square of the distance of the particle from its axis. Consider the particle M and it is moving around the axis given in black. Now the body is moving in a circular path of radius r. Therefore, the distance between the mass and the axis is always the same and it is r. Now, the moment of inertia of that particular mass m around the axis will be mass times square of the distance, that is r square. Therefore, I is equal to m r square for one particle or one body of mass m. Therefore, moment of inertia of a particle about an axis is the product of its mass of the particle and the square of the distance of the particle from its axis. I is equal to m r squared. We have seen the moment of inertia of one particle. Now let us see what is the moment of inertia of a complete rigid body. A rigid body can be considered as a collection of many particles of different masses. Consider a rigid body here which is rotating about that axis x dash which through a point O. Now consider different mass elements m1, m2, m3 etc. at the distances r1, r2, r3 from the point of contact O. Now the moment of inertia of the mass m1 about the axis of rotation will be m1 r1 square as we have discussed earlier. Again, the moment of inertia of a particle of mass m2 about the same point will be m2 r2 squared and that of m3 will be m3 r3 squared. Since we have considered the rigid body as a collection of many masses m1, m2, m3 etc. up to mn masses, then the moment of inertia of that complete body will be the sum of moment of inertia of the individual particles. Therefore, we can write the moment of inertia of that entire body I will be equal to m1 r1 squared plus m2 r2 squared plus m3 r3 squared plus etc. In the given picture, consider that the roundabout is massless. We have two masses, that are the kids with mass m1 and m2, and they are at a distance r1 and r2 from the axis of rotation O, which is through the center. It roundabout always rotates through its center. Therefore, the axis of rotation O will be always through the center. Now, the moment of inertia of this rigid body I will be equal to m1 r1 squared plus m2 r2 squared. The man who is pushing or pulling that roundabout have to exert a force which will be equal to overcome this inertia. Suppose the body is a symmetric body with symmetric mass distribution. The mass distribution is continuous. Then we can consider the moment of inertia using an integral. The moment of inertia I in this case will be equal to integral of r squared into dm, where dm is the mass of a very small element in that body. By integrating the mass, we can find the total mass m and it can be multiplied with r square. Again we will get I is equal to mr squared, which is the equation for moment of inertia of a single body. Now let us consider the radius of gyration. We know that for a rigid body, we have considered that rigid body as a collection of many particles of mass m1, m2, m3, etc. And we have written the moment of inertia of that complete body will be equal to sum of moment of inertias of the individual particles. Therefore, I will be equal to m1 r1 squared plus m2 r2 squared plus m3 r3 squared plus etc. Now, all these masses m1, m2, m3, etc. will constitute the mass of the whole body itself, right? Such that m1 plus m2 plus m3 plus m4 plus etc. up to mn will be the mass of that complete body, because we have divided the mass of that complete body into small mass elements. So the sum of all those masses will be the mass of that complete body. So I can sum m1 plus m2 plus m3 etc. into one mass, that is m, and the radius at which that particular m mass is rotating is k. Therefore, instead of writing m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square plus etc., I can write I is equal to m k squared, where k is called the radius of gyration. Therefore, from the equation, I can write k is equal to root over moment of inertia divided by mass of that body. Radius of gyration of a body about an axis of rotation is that distance from the axis, the square of which, on being multiplied by the total mass of the body, gives the moment of inertia of the body about that axis. For a regular body, all this mass m will be concentrated at the geometric center of the body, or even in the case of non-regular bodies also, the mass is concentrated at the center of mass. Therefore, we can also say that the radius of gyration is the distance between the center of mass and the axis of rotation. Therefore, radius of gyration is the distance from the axis at which the mass of the body is assumed to be concentrated. Or else, we can say that it is the axis of rotation at that distance, when squared and multiplied with the total mass, will give the moment of inertia of that mass. Hope you are clear with radius of gyration. Hi dear student, in this video we have learned about center of mass, we have learned about rigid body, different types of motion, center of mass of a rigid body. We have learned about moment of inertia of a single particle, moment of inertia of a rigid body, and also we have learned a term, radius of gyration. See you in the next video. Thank you.